Hello. We're here with Angelyn Toth, Bonnie and Greg Dixon from Storyvan TV, and today we're going to talk about her book, Radical Trust.
So, Angelyn, what is radical trust?
Radical trust is 100% trust. It's not 99%. People say, well, I trust 99%. That's good enough. No, that's not radical trust. Radical trust is that 1% over 99%. That's the actual difference. And it's all the difference. It could only be 1%, but it's all the difference. And that really has to do with, maybe we'll talk more about that today, but it's really to do with experience, faith, and a few other magical things. But it is 100%.
In reading your book, Angelyn, it would take my breath away at times. And so I know you're going to share more about it, but I just want the audience to know that the book and what Angelyn has to say, she explains why and where the radical trust came from. And each of you have had experiences in life, and this may help illuminate what's going on for you.
So where I absolutely understood radical trust versus trust was one time I was asked to do something by my higher guidance, by my intuition, by that deep all-knowing part of myself. And I was asked to do something that there's no way I was not interested in doing that, because it was going against everything I wanted to do. And I could tell the story in more detail if you'd like, or I could just allude to it. But the point of the matter is I was told to go left when I wanted to go right. And it was such a deep knowing, a deep kind of a nudging along a certain way, that in the end, I had to take that direction as inner directed. And it would take over a year before I would understand why that happened. But once I understood, I knew, oh my goodness, that was radical trust, because everything in me, my friends, my family, were all saying, you're crazy, you're sabotaging your life, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. I don't understand it, but I know I have to do that. And again, it wasn't really for a couple of years later that I fully understood the nature of what was asked of me, what I did, and what it led to, which was being able to live my dream of my beautiful 38-acre retreat center on Bowen Island. So that's basically where I got a deep understanding of radical trust, that extra 1%.
Was it a visceral feeling in your gut? Was it in your head? Was it in your heart? Where did you physically feel it?
I was sitting in the hot springs in Breitenbush down in Oregon. I was on a retreat with my at that point my boyfriend, and we had been going out for over a year. And I had actually separated from my husband about 2.5, 3 years earlier. And we were in the hot tub, and I suddenly heard this whisper. It was a whisper. You have to go back with your husband. And I'm like, what? No way. No. So that went on day to day. It was just a gentle kind of a whisper. You have to go back with your husband. And I'm like, that did not make sense. It had been a really bad situation. A lot of very dramatic things had happened, and there's no way. And but it was just a gentle nudging, and it went on for about a week. And then when I came back to Vancouver, I heard it again, this kind of whisper, you have to go back with your husband. And that was it. There was no reason why. It was just that. So in the end, I knew it was true, and I knew that I had to do that. So I told my boyfriend, and and he said, boy, you don't have to follow a voice. You don't have to follow just because you've got this whisper. You don't have to do it. And I said, well, actually I do. And I don't know why, but I do. I have to follow it. And I actually did follow that direction, I'll call it. And it did lead to pretty powerful situation. And I may as well tell you what that was. So basically, I did go back with my husband. I tried really hard for 3 months and 12 hours to have it go well. And I'd uprooted our daughter, and I was just in full integrity within this, but it just was very, very difficult. And some of the same things were happening, and we did a lot of healing work, but it was clearly not meant to be. And it was 3 months, 12 hours later, I got I got that same whisper, you can let go now. Now, at this point, I was somewhat depressed because I knew it was like I'd made a mistake. I thought, oh my God, I've made a mistake. I was listening to the wrong voice or whatever. And, but it's like 3 months, 12 hours later, you can let go now. Let go of what? Your marriage. You can let it go now. So I did once again uproot my daughter, and lots of my friends lost respect for me, and family members were like, yeah, we told you it wasn't going to work. What were you thinking? Well, as it turned out, 11 months later, just short of a year, my husband passed away very suddenly, very tragically at 41 years of age. And it was really, really a terrible experience for myself and for our daughter, of course. And it wasn't really for a couple of years after that I started to understand the significance of the fact of going back for those 3 months. And a couple of lawyers separately had told me, if you hadn't gone back for 3 months, then it would have been like a 4-year separation and treated as like a de facto divorce in the law courts. And what came to you to create the retreat center never would have come to you. So, or it might have come one day in a more diluted form one day up the road. So that's when I went, wow, I had been guided to do that. And after 3 months, it was like, okay, you can let go now. And it was very, very significant. And so for now, I never, ever, ever, ever say no when I get that kind of a whisper again, to do something. So I've never had such a profound experience since, quite like that one, but that was the one that showed me what radical trust was. In other words, jumping off the void without having a clue what you're actually doing. We're not given all the details ahead of time sometimes.
Your story just gave me the chills because, when you think about that, if you had not gone back, if you'd not done that one thing, as hard as it was, it would have made a dramatic difference in your life. And as you said, we can look back. We can't always see forward, but we can see backward. And backward looking, that was very significant. It again just gave me the chills to hear it, because maybe you would have stayed 11 weeks, or maybe you would have stayed 10 weeks, but no, you stayed 3 months and 12 days.
And it had to be 3 months. It couldn't be 10 weeks. It couldn't be it had to be 3 months, because that broke the 2.5 years ahead of time. And then they took the year. Mm-hmm. I know. And, now 27 years later with Xenia, there's no, it was meant to be. This whole project, thousands of people have come to this retreat center and have profound healing experiences. This was meant to be, is meant to be.
Mm-hmm. So out of that experience, you wrote a book then. The book itself shares this, how people can understand when they read the book, how they can apply it to their life. And I'm sure you have, it's an entire book, but is there something you can share specifically out of the book that you would encourage people not only to buy the book, but that they could look forward to reading in that book? What will they be looking for in that book as they read it?
I think they're going to find in the book many, many life challenges that I went through to get to that place of radical trust. I've got, people say, oh, you're so lucky. You must have been born with a silver spoon in your mouth to have such a lovely life and land and it's not the case at all. There was a lot of tragedy and difficult things along the way. And I think a lot of people, whether they're dealing with addiction, whether they're dealing with abuse, being abused by a partner, and I'm not talking about my deceased husband, I'm talking about a prior relationship where I was nearly strangled. So in there, you're going to probably relate to me in one or other way. Maybe you've had a great deal of money, maybe like a jackpot, and then you lost everything, which happens to many people. So I'm sure that the reader will find themselves along with one of my stories, but ultimately it really leads to the place of everything, it's all handled. We don't really have to worry. I reach out to people from my heart to yours and say, everything's going to be okay. If you're in the worst possible dark night of the soul right now, that's okay. It will be okay, but wake up in it. Wake up in it. If you're in a dark night, come awake to that moment. And because within that is where you're going to find the grace and the love and also the magic that will go forward with you.
Now you have, as well as many, many people, especially this last year or so, hit a financial abyss, and you used what you'd learned with Radical Trust. Can you tell us a little bit about that with your beloved Xenia, how, you almost lost her?
I did. After 10 years of doing the work we were doing, including some fantastic work with kids from the street and just lots of beautiful, beautiful healing work here. 10 years, we had done a lot of renovations because I bought an old broken down 38-acre sheep farm. But now it was a beautiful retreat center and people were coming from all over the world. And then I hit a really bad, awful financial mess. And what happened was I got involved with, I had bought a mortgage investment trust for $350,000 that happened to be fraudulent. And this man had made off with $3.5 million of people's money, of which $350,000 was mine. Now that situation created like a domino effect and it escalated all the way through. And I was so in a lot of fear and terror because at one point I was 5 months behind in the mortgage, 3 years behind in property tax. There was disconnection notices. I mean, I know what it's like when they say, we're going to disconnect your hydro, and they don't for months and months and months and months. But, I mean, I got to a point of what I call my dark night of the soul, where I was living in fear and terror about losing this beautiful place that I'd put my heart, blood, sweat, and tears and hundreds of thousands of dollars into. So, I was actually sitting on the floor in my living room after taking my daughter up to the school bus, and I just surrendered. I just said, it's over. I really felt like the weight and the stress of holding up this huge responsibility by myself was too much to bear. And I just sat down on the couch and I ended up just saying, it's over. I said, it's over. And I'm like, I remember it was like terror and it was like fire. And I was feeling this fire just consuming me. And it's like, okay, it's over, take it. And it was like, take everything, including this body. It was like a death. And I remember, it sounds dramatic now, but in that moment, it really did feel like a death. And from there, I just let everything go. I just completely surrendered. And it was a couple of days later, a girlfriend and I just followed instruction pretty much. Do this, do that. And my friend Ariel, who you guys know very well, she and I got on the phone and we raised $20,000 of gifted money in 3.5 hours. And prior to that, I couldn't get money from anybody. I'd been begging, asking, trying to sell things, and nothing worked. It had to take me deep into that dark night of the soul. But Ariel and I, we got $20,000 of gifted money in 3.5 hours. And then we marched down to Van City, downtown Vancouver, plunked the money down, said, okay, we're caught up with our mortgage. And then a beautiful benefactor, a wonderful person, came to me shortly thereafter, and he gave me a significant donation, very, very significant, such that all of the back property taxes absolutely disappeared, plus money to do some infrastructure work. And you know what? From that point on, I never, ever, ever, ever worried about money again. It was always, oh, I don't know where the mortgage is coming tonight from, you know, out of the account, but somehow it's going to happen. And it always does and always did. So that was significant.
So you were also working with another company for many years. And what I understand is you had the knock on the door like 7 times before you heard that knock.
Yeah.
But you again used your radical trust to trust it. And working with that company for many years. Then from there, as that company, well, I'll let you tell a story how you worked with that company, and as it left, what happened then?
Yeah. So what happened was I did get invited several times in 10 days to enter a network marketing business. And I was like, no, never, no how. I don't have time. I'm not interested. I don't believe in the industry. Go somewhere else. But my friend was so tenacious. Renee Beth, she just kept, Angelyn, this will be so good for your retreat center. People are going to know about your retreat center and you'll make money. And I said, yeah, right. You know, no. But I kept getting that little whisper, that little nudge. Take a look, check it out. No, take a look, check it out. No, take a look, check it out. And then what happened? She sent me a little audio clip. And she said, Angelyn, before you say your final no, would you listen to this audio clip? And I'm like, oh, God, okay. I felt sorry for her at this point. I mean, who phones somebody 7 times in 10 days? So I'm like, oh, God, let me listen to it and get her off my back. And I actually listened to this gentleman, Stephen Chiniski, who I since became very, very good friends with and respect him greatly. He was talking about this concept of highest and best. Those were the 3 words that grabbed me. Highest and best. It was like, I want that. What is that? I want highest and best. What is that? And literally, that's what took me down to Portland to meet that company, the team, and get started. Long story short, very quick, is I went down to Portland, met the team. I said, yes, okay, let's go for it. Whatever. Okay, let's do it. And without really any experience in the industry, very, very quickly, my team and I got to one of the highest levels, top income earner in Canada, one of the top in the whole company, won every award, got the BMW and the trips and all of that, much to my absolute surprise, for 15 years. And I was incredibly loyal to that, absolutely, for 15 years when it actually closed, not as a product company, you can still buy the products, but as a network marketing company. And that closed in December recently.
And from there, though, again, because you were part of a very incredibly successful team, and you can work on your own, but what I know about you and reading your book is when you're a team player and you are working with a team, many hands make light work. And so share with us what happened then, or late, I guess it was late last year.
Yes. Well, first of all, I did not worry at all. In fact, as everybody in the world has been through what I've been through, which is your whole entire life has just changed on its axis in the last couple of years. If you're watching this video 10 years from now, we're talking 2020, 2021. And literally my retreat center went from fully booked people from all over the world coming here, and to zero. We thought, well, that'll be a couple of months, but it went on, and we're now over a year and a half, really. And at the same time, this other business that was actually sustaining my retreat center, I'd entered the Millionaire Club and this and that. So that business helped build roofs and roads and really keep Xenia afloat. So suddenly both of those were gone, and or for now with the retreat center. So I was introduced to this company, LifeWave, and from the same girl that brought me through the other company. And she says, Angelyn, don't give me a song and a dance this time. Just sign up, do this. And because at first I said, no, I'm not doing it again. I don't have the heart to build a new team. And she said, Angelyn, I don't want to hear it. Just sign up right now. And so I did. And then for a couple of months, I actually didn't even look at it because I was grieving. I was grieving. I loved my company before and I loved my team before. And it's only been several months now, but the beautiful thing, Bonnie and Greg, as you know, most of my team that I worked with has joined me with this new business. And so we're working together again. And it's a great product line. And there's even more bells and whistles we get to play with. So, but again, it's all about the fact I didn't worry. I didn't go into a freak out. I just was very open and curious. Radical trust. It's like, okay, all right. I wonder what's next. Of course, I was invited to all these other, people started phoning me out of the woodwork. Oh, Angelyn, I hear your companies. So I was invited into several different companies, but I just stayed really close to my heart and to my guidance as to which one, if I was ever to do one again. And it just flowed. And that's where I'm at today, just, learning about it, loving the products and loving the team.
So that is an incredible story. So, Greg, you want to ask Angelyn?
Yeah, you were talking about an invitation. What kind of invitation do you have for the people watching this at the moment?
An invitation. Well, I think the biggest invitation is to let you know, again, like I said, everything is all handled. You can relax and trust, stay open, and really trust what comes to you, what life is showing you, because life shows us everything. We don't have to sweat it. But it doesn't mean that everything comes towards us we say yes to. We still have our yes and no.
Yeah.
We still get tested. But when you stay in your heart, then you will be guided in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So where can they get your book?
They can go to angelyntoth.com.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, in the next 3 days, I will be launching my new website. So if you go on today, it's going to be a very plain, simple website, but it's still a way to reach me. But in the next 3 days, it will be much more. I'm very excited about my new, but it's angelyntoth.com. So ANGELYNTOTH.com.
Yeah, we'll post that in the comments, and we will also send out a reminder when it's launched for people to go take a look. Yeah.
Yes. So this has been an incredible story. And what I love about Radical Trust is anyone that reads the book can use the information for their own life to literally change their life for better. If they'll use what the things that you share and how to use all the techniques. And it's not really all the techniques. It's really, it sounds like learning to trust yourself.
Yeah. And also to trust that there is a higher intelligence. There is something that really does care about each one of us, each one of us. And isn't it really about inner peace? Don't we all want just to find a place of inner peace, inner acceptance? And once we find that place, life, there's so much more grace and magic that can occur. And we can start to get used in a way that is, open and exciting. So
this is part of a healthy lifestyle to have mental health, peace, tranquility. It's a huge part of everyone. So I encourage everyone to please go check out Angelyn Toth and Radical Trust. There's so much more that she has to offer, but
like Xenia.
Like Xenia, yes.
XeniaCenter.com.
It is a beautiful retreat center. The peace, the quiet, it's just the whole place is gorgeous. Greg and I have been there and actually lived there for a while. And we can only encourage people to make the journey there, meet Angelyn, and radically trust that when you get there, that your whole demeanor will change. You can just literally breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Anything else, darling?
No, I think that's good. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for joining us today and telling us about Radical Trust.
Thank you, Angelyn, so much.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate you.
Lots of love to you both.
Love to you both.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.